Well, hello there, everybody, and thank you so much for stopping by for tea at 40 Codorus Street. You notice I'm wearing purple today. There's a reason for that. Purple is the color for domestic violence movement. The domestic violence movement got its roots from way before the domestic violence movement started. It actually came from the early 1900s with the women's suffrage movement. They utilized purple, white, and gold, and the colors represented to them purity, hope, and loyalty. So for the domestic violence movement, the purple represents purity, hope, and loyalty for all. I'm going to start this session by giving you some statistics about domestic violence in the United States. I chose the United States because that's where I am. Of course, domestic violence happens all over the world. We're going to keep it to the U.S. So now, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men, listen, 1 in 7 men will experience severe physical violence by an intimate partner in their lifetime. That is taken directly from the CDC, year 2017. You can Google that. 1 in 10 women in the United States will be raped by an intimate partner in their lifetime. Directly from the CDC, year 2010. How big is the problem of domestic violence? It is very big, too big to measure. The presence of a gun in a domestic violence situation increases the risk of homicide by 500%. Intimate partner violence accounts for 15% of all violent crimes. Women between the ages of 18 and 24 are most commonly abused by an intimate partner. 19% of domestic violence involves a weapon. Now you got that, right? Who are the victims of domestic violence in the United States? On average, nearly 20 people per minute are physically abused by an intimate partner in the United States. During 1 year, this equates to more than 10 million women and men. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have been victims of some form or type of physical violence by an intimate partner within their lifetime. Those stats are horrible. I am sure that there are many of you out there who know somebody who's been in a situation where they are being abused, or have known someone who's been in a situation where they've been abused. And sometimes you ask somebody, you ask your friend, why do you stay with him? Why do you stay with her if this is happening to you? Because they feel they have nowhere to go or no place to go. Let me tell you some reasons why they think that. And there are probably many more reasons that we could come up with. First of all, an abuser has influence and feels it is safer to stay. Maybe the victim's partner is a police officer or some high-ranking government official, and they're afraid and know they can't win a battle with him in court. Maybe they're in denial and the abuser says, I'm sorry, I won't do this again. That's all bull. They're going to repeat it and they're going to do it over and over again. The victim has a lack of knowledge for options. They don't know who to turn to or what to do. They might feel they deserve the abuse. They might fear homelessness. I think about that often when it comes to my mother, who left my father when I was 10. My mother dropped out of school in 10th grade. She could read and write, but she didn't have a job. Her job was a homemaker taking care of her 7 children while my father was running around. She had nowhere to go. She couldn't drive. She didn't have a car. So where was she going to go? So I'm sure she had a horrible fear of homelessness. Some victims are illiterate and have no job and don't know what they're going to do or how they will survive on their own. Or they feel guilty. They feel like everything that's happened to them, they deserve it. Maybe they feel like they've always been the bad person through their whole life and everything that comes their way, they deserve it. Many women have fear of losing their children. That one hits close to me because my mother was a foster child and her sister and her brother when they were little. In the 1920s, my grandfather reported my grandmother for not having a job and being able to take care of her 3 children. So the system took my grandmother's children, which was my mother and her siblings. My grandmother did not get her children back until 5 years later, when she finally got a job and could prove that she could take care of her children. Maybe the victim has disabilities and know they can't take care of themselves. Maybe they're wheelchair bound. Maybe they just can't do it. So they just accept the abuse and decide that's how their life is going to be. Some people fear deportation. They're in the country illegally. They definitely have nowhere to go or nobody to turn to. And the abuser knows that. Excuse me. Sometimes people just hope that the violence will end. They love the abuser so much they do believe that one day he will stop or she will stop and they can move on. They love them that much to just keep on taking that. Maybe the abuser is in law enforcement. We mentioned that. Maybe the victim is embarrassed, thinking they have this good job, they have good friends, and oh my God, if they find out I'm in this situation, I'm being beaten, and I'm just stuck with my kids, not doing anything about it, they're going to say, what is wrong with you? They're so embarrassed, they just can't tell anybody. And then we come down to cultural family history. Let me talk about that a little bit. Because many families have secrets, many secrets, rotten, dirty secrets. Women have been being abused forever, and men have been being abused. But it's culturally in the family, and no one tells. It's like a secret. Don't whisper it. Don't tell it's a secret. We got to break the cultural barriers. People, we have to break the cultural barriers, and we have to help people break them and get out of the situations they're in. Maybe the victim is worried about financial despair. They have nothing. Maybe they're getting pressure from the family because the whole family knows what's going on, but nobody's talking about it. And they're telling them to stay there because where they going to get the care they're getting if they leave? They're not thinking about you getting your butt beat or being hurt or your kids being hurt and abused. They just worry about what you're going to do. They can't take care of you. What you going to do? That's what they're thinking about. So no, they don't leave because they have nowhere to go and no money and families pressuring them. Maybe the victim has negative experience from the court system. Maybe they feel if they bring up charges, go to court, it's not going to work in their favor. Maybe the victim is mentally disturbed. There are many people mentally disturbed and being taken advantage of, not just in domestic violence, in homes, but in nursing homes and senior homes and many homes. People are mentally disabled. And maybe they're worried about protecting the military career of someone. Oh my God, if I tell, he'll lose his stripes. He'll get kicked out of the military. We won't have anything. Oh, baloney. Tell. Lack of transportation. Maybe they can drive, but they have no car. They have nowhere to go. How are they going to go? Well, they can leave. They can leave. They need to come up with a domestic violence escape plan. If someone is abusing you or someone you know, this is what they need to do. They need to tell someone they trust. They need to call the National Domestic Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. Memorize the number. Keep it somewhere where you can always get to it. When they're preparing to leave, they have to keep a lot of things in mind. They have to let someone they trust know what their plan is. They have to keep a bag packed with their essential items and copies of important documents. When my mother left my dad when I was 10, I remember her taking a pillowcase and throwing in a lot of important papers and pictures before she left us at the house. They have to practice how they're going to get out of the house safely. They have to plan for a safe place to go. If you have to leave suddenly, or if they have to leave suddenly, they have to have a safe place to go. They should devise a code word to use with their neighbor, their children, their family, or their entrusted friend. They might need to call the police for protection when they're leaving the house. And when I talk about a code word, I'll give you an example. Maybe I'm being abused, and my friend is my person I'm going to go to, and the code word I give her is splitting headache. So I call her one day, and I said, oh my God, I'm having a splitting headache. She's going to cut the conversation short, and she's going to go into action with what she's supposed to do to help me. Teach your children how to call the police. This is very important here. Open a savings account for a credit card or a credit card in your own name. You may request police standby if you need to. Consider getting a restraining order at the domestic violence court in the area where you live. Take important phone numbers and documents, etc. with you. Create a false paper trail to make your abuser think you have gone somewhere else. Call about housing and schools in a different state, in several different states, but none of the states as to where you are going. Buy a burner phone. Come on, we watch Law and Order, NCIS, FBI Must Win It. Get a burner phone and only give that number to critical people like your person you trust with your plan or your parent. Somebody you trust is the only one should have that number. After leaving, keep a copy of your CPO, your domestic violence restraining order, with you at all times. So yes, do consider getting that restraining order. Alert people where you work about what's going on in your life. Give a copy of your CPO order to the security in your building. If possible, change office location, hours, and phone extensions. Run a post office box for mail. Consider getting a caller ID and an unlisted number and a mobile phone, again, a burner phone, so it can't be traced. And if you don't remember anything I've said here to you in this session, remember, the abuse you are experiencing is not your fault. Once you get through everything and get through your plan, find and attend a survival support group to gain support and learn from others. That will help you to stay strong and recover. And remember, all of us make a difference when helping someone else. Excuse me. So yes, you make a difference. I make a difference. We all make a difference. Let's protect and save people who are in this deadly situation. Until the next time, see you at tea time at 40 Codorus Street. Thank you.